In 1984, in a small provincial town in Poland, a woman walking her dog discovers two bodies in the forest. One is a night worker and the other is Tom, a powerful youth leader of the town. Witold, an old journalist, is assigned to the case. The newsroom has just hired a young reporter named Peter, who is appointed as Witold's assistant for this investigation. A little about these two: Witold is soon to retire and plans to flee the country and go to Germany. Back then, it wasn't easy to do that, so Witold has to pay shady people to get his papers, ticket, and cash. Meanwhile, Peter and his wife are expecting a baby. Peter is the son of a politician, so everyone assumes he got hired at the newsroom thanks to his father's influence. Because of this, Peter is even more determined to prove his own abilities. Back to the case, the prime suspect is immediately arrested. He is John, the boyfriend of the night worker, and he quickly confesses to the crime. Witold, no longer passionate about his job, readily accepts this conclusion. But Peter feels something is off. John didn't try to run after committing the crime and confess too quickly when arrested. With this doubt, Peter goes to the bar where the night worker used to work. There, he tries to approach her colleagues, who reveal that John was at the bar all night during the time of the crime. The night worker tries to seduce Peter. For a moment he almost gives in but quickly regains his composure and leaves. However, right after he leaves, someone enters the room and ends her. At the newsroom, Witold hears that a young boy has ended his life, which intrigues him. He goes to the boy's house, where his father tells him that he ended his life along with his girlfriend. The girlfriend turns out to be the daughter of Witold's old friends. He goes to their house and the mother says that the girl was a good daughter with big dreams and she can't understand why she ended her life. Witold thought he had lost passion for journalism and was preparing for his trip to Germany. However, now the case has become personal, and he decides to investigate the deaths of the two teenagers. Meanwhile, Peter continues investigating the case of Tom and the night worker. He visits the detention center and learns that Tom tried to end his own life and is now in very poor mental condition. Peter is almost certain Tom is not the culprit and tries to find the real perpetrator. He later meets Tom's wife, Helena, who seems to have OCD and is extremely detail-oriented. She reveals that she already knew Tom had been cheating for some time because of the smell on him. One day, she followed him when he brought his mistress home, a woman living next to a slaughterhouse. Peter remembers the murder weapon at the crime scene was a butcher's knife and suspects a connection. He informs Witold about his findings, and Witold decides to investigate the bar himself. He can't find the woman he knows there and is threatened by a man to stop digging into the case. He goes to the woman's house, but she hasn't been home since the day before. The next day, Peter rents the same room where the dead night worker used to live. The landlord happens to be the butcher from the slaughterhouse. That night, Witold visits Peter and advises him to drop the case because it seems more serious than they thought, especially since Peter has a family to take care of. When Witold returns home, the mother of the teenage girl comes to ask for his help in investigating her daughter's death. Suspecting she was ended as political revenge because her husband was a political activist, the next day, Witold goes to the high school the young couple attended. The principal says that although the girl Justina was an excellent student, she was bullied at school because of her father. Later, a student reveals that they didn't know Justina and the boy, Carol, were dating. They only saw them dancing together at a party the day before the incident. The next day, Witold finds out that Justina went to a tailor shop and ordered an expensive evening dress and lingerie, paying with USD. Witold wonders where she got the money. More information from the jail doctor confirms that John is not the perpetrator because he is right-handed, but the perpetrator is left-handed. Peter's father learns that Witold is about to leave the country and uses this to threaten Witold to make Peter quit the newsroom. He wants his son to rely on his connections to get a better job elsewhere. Meanwhile, Peter meets Helena again to discuss that John is not Tom's perpetrator, but she couldn't care less. Not only that, Peter and Helena end up hooking up. Meanwhile, at Peter's home, a man posing as a gas worker breaks in and threatens his pregnant wife. That night when Peter returns home, Teresa asks him about the case and why he seems distant. They argue, and Peter storms out to the butcher's house. Here he learns that the butcher used to be a boxer on the same team as Tom. After staying out all night, Peter doesn't come home. Teresa goes to the newsroom looking for him, but he's not there. She then goes into labor and goes to the hospital on her own. When Peter returns and finds her gone, he rushes to the hospital. She gives him an ultimatum: solve the case within 2 months or their marriage is over. Witold goes to the youth center to investigate Tom's background and passes by a photo of a swimming team from the past. The manager introduces one of the girls as Tom's current wife. Nearby is a photo of last year's swimming team, which includes Justina. Witold suddenly realizes there is some connection. He asks for information about a team member close to Justina and visits her house. She sobs and reveals that Justina caught Tom's eye. Tom had a sick habit of calling girls to his office to watch them and give them money. This explains why Justina had money to buy a dress for the prom with Carol. At the party, when a girl saw Justina and Carol dancing together, she got jealous and bullied and assaulted Justina in the bathroom. With this revelation, Witold suspects Justina's father ended Tom and confronts him. But he wasn't the one, because someone ended Tom before he could. Peter suspects the butcher has something to do with Tom's death, so he hides in his stinky trunk to see where he drives to. On the road, he is stopped by the same man who threatened Teresa, who turns out to be a policeman named Kulik. Kulik asks the butcher to check a knife in his car trunk to get his fingerprints on it. It turns out Kulik tampered with the crime scene and is now framing the butcher as the perpetrator, since there is too much evidence proving John, the night worker's boyfriend, is not the real murderer. Two policemen then hang Kulik and fake the scene to look like he takes his own life, leaving the murder weapon on the ground as if in remorse. Peter panics witnessing all this and flees before Kulik searches the van's trunk. He then runs back to the butcher's house. He is stopped by an old policeman. Kulik arrives and tries to shoot Peter to eliminate witnesses, but the old policeman intervenes and Kulik shoots him dead and tries to end everyone present. At that moment, Witold and the prosecutor arrive, and the prosecutor shoots Kulik. Witold is shot and wounded, then taken to the hospital. The case seems closed, and Peter prepares to move out of town with Teresa. However, he still misses Helena and wants to say goodbye before leaving. He goes to her house and is let in by the neighbor. Inside, Peter finds some men's belongings and becomes suspicious. He snoops around Helena's apartment and discovers the knife that was actually used to kill Tom. When Helena returns home, he confronts her. It turns out Tom did the same things to her that he did to Justina when she was young. To get rid of Tom, she manipulated Kulik, the prosecutor, and Peter by seducing them into working for her. Peter realizes how foolish he has been and understands that the whole situation was always beyond his control.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like for more videos like this.